Well. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Rugby Scoop Pod. Razzle dazzle footy from down under New Zealand. Super Rugby semi-finals, Hurricanes and Chiefs. Springbok announcements. Rassie Erasmus revealing objectives for the South African A side. Ruan Ackermann banned. Sasha Feinberg Ngomezulu coming back in 6 weeks. Lots to talk about. Premiership. Joseph Dweba is in a final. English Premiership. We're going to discuss Super Rugby semi-finals. We're going to jump on or touch base with the Premiership and then look into the Blue Bulls traveling to Croke Park. 60,000 people. Can they get over the line? We're doing a preview. And we're looking at the Hurricanes versus the Chiefs in the final of Super Rugby 2026. Dave Rennie, who's in his squad? Jade, how are things in Bloemfontein?
Oh, good. It's actually interesting in Bloemfontein this week. We have the Outer Challenge up here in Bloemfontein. So we have the Pumas, Cheetahs and the Griquas up against Black Lions from Georgia.
Yes, the Georgian team.
And Portugal as well. So we have two that's the teams going on here. So it's quite interesting. You know, there was 3 games played in the space of 10 days or so. And yeah, a little bit of rugby down in Bloemfontein, you know. We starved with rugby this side,
The reason I'm laughing, man, we have to settle for Black Lion and Georgia and what is it, Spain or Portuguese team?
Portuguese. Romania and Portugal, yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, those clubs play in another competition here up in Europe as well, the Super Cup, where clubs from Georgia, clubs from Romania, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands has one team called Delta. Belgium has one team as well. And obviously the Georgians are running riot, putting 40 to 50 points plus, and they keep winning the competition. I think it helps the Georgian sides to come down to South Africa, play against those Cheetahs and the Griquas and see where they are. But I'm assuming the South African teams are probably running riot over there as well, right?
Yeah, not say running riot. There's been a lot of competitive games, you know. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, the games have been relatively competitive. So
okay, good to see. Good to see.
It's been good.
All right, JD, let's not waste any time while we wait for Vickers to jump in. But news making headlines. Congratulations to the Knicks winning the NBA champion. I know that's got nothing to do with rugby, but it's the first time in 53 years, guys. 53 years. None of us on this podcast were born. None of us were even thought of back then. 53 years. Spike Lee must be so excited. But anyway, let's hope that they don't also become like Arsenal fans, gloating over the EPL win over this. But yeah, congratulations to the Knicks. This is this is not a swipe for an Arsenal fans.
I would have left to the other one. I would have made a comparison with them and the Stormers, but yeah.
Oh, Stormers catching strays. Speaking of the Stormers, loose forward, Ruan Ackermann has been suspended for dangerous cleanout against Leinster. So he copped a 3-match ban there. I mean, I think we all knew that was coming, Jade. So yeah, there's no surprises when it comes to that. Stormers have ended their pursuit for Argentina lock Tomás Lavanini. Can you imagine? I mean, we were talking about the Stormers. Yeah?
Dodge the bullet.
And the Stormers dodged the bullet.
Yeah, they dodged the bullet. Lavanini he couldn't even make that Highlanders team. And I mean, in the beginning of the season, he was not fit, right?
Yeah.
So both him and Holland got injured, right in the beginning of the campaign. And Lavanini was injured, I think he had a hand injury, and then he came in and out, but he couldn't really make that team. There was times when they played Tika Howden and was Ollie Haig, who were both open side flankers at lots.
No wonder they were having line-out issues, the Highlanders.
So that's my feedback, and I can give a Lavanini. I said, this is they dodged the bullet here. I think with Andre Smith, JD Schickelink, Van Heeren, I don't know if Van Heeren's still here. I think he might be leaving, but for those guys,
Speaking of Andre Smith, I just saw news now that he's been called up to the Springbok camp as well, like literally an hour ago. Crazy.
And last week, Ruben van Heeren was called up.
Yeah. I wonder what's happening within the training camp in terms of injuries. But I mean, speaking of Lavanini as well, Dobo said they would like to continue with the South African players. Connor Evans is one of them, the guy that's playing for the Junior Boks. Riley Norton, apparently he's also part of the Stormers crew. Gary Porter is one of the players as well. So he would rather focus on blooding in new talent straight from the under-20s and make sure that they've got a very good trajectory, or in terms of using their growth path, using some South African players. I think that's still reasonable answer from Dobo. Jade?
Yeah, it is. And I think it's the right move at the moment. I mean, if you're looking at who the Stormers are signing, I mean, they just signed Jason Colby. There's talks of Damien Allender being next.
Yeah.
There's also talks, murmurs of even Itzebeth going back that side,
No.
There's rumors of that as well. So, I mean, if you're looking at that and you're looking at, I don't know what kind of salary cap they do have or budget they do have, I think it's rather, go this way and try and get one or two of those guys from Japan back, and then, getting a budget better that way.
Speaking of caps, salary caps, I mean, Sharks had Itzebeth, they had Sia, they had they have Esther Hazen, they had Ox, they had Grant Williams. I mean, that's serious money. If I'm an agent of any of those guys, surely I'm asking for a lot of money. So the Sharks had all these players at their stable. Mbonambi as well. Koch. Man, that's at least, 8 players? 7 players? Springboks. Starters. Oh, that's a lot of money. I don't know what the salary cap is in rugby at the moment, to be fair. And looking at the Stormers now buying players to come back into South Africa from overseas, some of them. Yeah, there's money in SA Rugby.
I don't think there's a salary cap scoop for South Africa, because how would they classify it, and what would they classify it? Because obviously, you're looking at a top 14 in the Premiership as a cap. I don't think the URC really has a cap, because how would you classify the cap? Do you do it?
Because Leinster is also spending exorbitant amounts.
If you're looking at it, I think I know when they were in Super Rugby, I know they traded it with, I think with the Australian dollar or the New Zealand dollar, so they kept the cap according to that. And the reason with everybody falling out with Super Rugby was when South Africa wanted to, trade in terms of rand. Now, I think in terms of the URC, I think it's running in terms of the euro. And I think if it's done that way, then the cap shouldn't really affect South Africa, because, I mean, we're way behind in terms of salary and expectation, and like the likes of Leinster, even what's the team's name, Glasgow, them all. I think we're way behind in terms of that, So I think we're safe in terms of that.
Fair. Interesting one. Another one making rounds not this past week, but like yesterday. Hurricane scrumhalf, Jade. Cam Roigard has come under fire for his actions on Saturday against the Blues. What do you make of Cam Roigard? To give some people some context, Bowden Barrett kicked an up and under, a well-timed up and under. Nice hanger. Cam Roigard was under the ball, decided to jump. Barrett clipped him by his ankles while he was in the air, so he fell on the side of his shoulder, and Cam Roigard laid there for about 2 or 3 seconds, and the ref just blowed for a whistle. The ref just blowed for a penalty. He didn't double blow, so usually when a ref just blows for a penalty, the opposition takes a step back, but Roigard pretended to be injured for a few seconds and then got up. And as soon as he got up, he saw that no one was watching him or looking at him. And yeah, the ref allowed play on. He tapped the ball quickly and he ran 60, 70 meters. And Hurricanes ended up scoring from that. What do you make, Jade, out of this?
Well, like you said, I mean, there wasn't a double blow. Obviously, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see this in the game. There wasn't a double blow. I think it was Keith was the match official.
Yeah, he was.
So there wasn't a double blow. And I mean, obviously, there was a bit of sportsmanship and something you really don't want to use to promote the game. But one thing that Cam Roigard has done brilliant, and I think he's the best in the world in terms of this at the moment. He knows how to take the quick tap and where to take the quick tap.
Yeah.
And he's a master at that. That is his game. He does it correctly. 90% of the time, he makes the right decision when he does go quickly. And that's his game, So I think... if you're doing your homework on Cam Roigard, just be careful. Whenever you get a penalty, watch him because he's a master at that. He sums up the situation and he goes, and that's how he made a name for himself. In terms of taking that quick tap. So we don't like these actions, leading up into it. But I mean, he was clever. He didn't hear the double whistle, and then he went. He went, and they scored from there. And I mean, luckily the game wasn't a one-score, two-score game. Luckily it was a blowout. So it really didn't affect the game.
No, fair. Yeah, like for me, what stood out was the double blow. So because if he's lying there and is completely injured and the ref can see that he's completely injured, the ref would have blown the double whistle for timeout and time off, and probably Bowden Barrett cops a yellow in that situation, and Roigard doesn't get to take a quick tap. But you can see him smiling with Ruben Love when Ruben went to check on him. But yeah, I mean, Hendrickse versus Munster in that kickoff, in those penalty kickout, falling on the ground, putting up his hamstring or cramping of his legs, winks at Crowley, a bit of shithousery every now and again. But I think in a situation like this, yeah, you probably don't want to see it, but at the same time you go, whatever, man. Let's move on from it. But yeah, I mean, there's two sides to it. Some people will say, yeah, it's not sportsmanship. Some people will say, yeah, quick thinking. Because if the ref blows his whistle once, it doesn't blow. If it doesn't do a double blow, then there's no stoppage, right? So play to the whistle, as some coaches would always say, and most coaches will also tell you that don't turn your back, right? At this level, you would expect the Blues players to be hanging back, moving backwards 10 meters, watching where the ball is, etc. I mean, even if Roigard didn't take a quick tap, if Ruben Love had taken that ball and just kicked a 50-22, hypothetically, or kicked it directly to touch and it lands 5 meters from the goal line, would we still say that it's an issue? Because some players do take a quick, what's this thing? Take a quick kick or a tap. But yeah, feigning an injury or pretending to be injured, that's another story for another day. Moving on, Rassie Erasmus, Jade, has revealed that the objectives for South Africa A against Zimbabwe next weekend is a result to capture top junior Springboks talent so that they do not leave. That's why they're trying to cap these players so that they still are bound to play for South Africa in the next upcoming years. Your thoughts on this?
So this is not an official test match, right?
Well, I don't know what he means by capturing.
I don't know how you're going to capture it. I mean, if you're looking at us and you just think of it in the back of your mind, James Lowe and Jamison Gibson Park was both capped for the Maoris before they went to Ireland. So, I mean, that doesn't really stop, players from leaving or so, so for me, I mean, obviously these guys want to be a part of the setup and feel a part of the team, He does choose bigger squads. Obviously, when you are in that broader and that wider squad, alignment squad, you do realize, and you have to also keep sense with them. You have to learn and I'm here to put up my hand, in terms of selection. But the chances of me, getting selected is also really slim because of, the amount of players we do have and I'm working against. So, yeah, I think obviously if you're a younger player, nowadays, you can't bound a player in South Africa. I mean, they can go anywhere. So if those guys go overseas and they're not in a setup or so, they'll still continue to put their hand up for selections of Africa, but after 3 years or so, they'll start to look elsewhere. And that's just how it is, and it's gone with rugby at the moment. So being selected for A team, or I mean, you've seen the Australian A team, you've seen New Zealand
XP, yeah.
the XP and the Maoris, and South African A team also coming in now. It's a good initiative and something nice. I like it, but it doesn't mean that you can really gonna tie those guys down into South Africa, because, like I said, both Emerson Gibson Park and James Lowe played for the Maoris, and then they both kept for Ireland now.
Yeah, fair. Because this one is one of those topics, right, where Mpumelelo and the likes would be saying, hey, look how many players from South Africa are leaving. I mean, from the New Zealand perspective are leaving, etc. But, I mean, Vickers is an important one because not everyone is going to be a Springbok. Not everyone is going to make it into the SAA. So those players will always feel that they need to leave. And also Tyrone Green was a rock at 15. Tyrone Green was one of the top players for the Lions when they were playing finals footy and Super Rugby. But he still left the country and went to go ply his trade in England, right? And what's happened of him? He didn't even make the English A side. He hasn't even made the English side, right? But at the end of the day, there will be players that will always leave. And Vickers, your thoughts? Rassie saying that he wants to capture top talent to stay in South Africa by selecting them for the South Africa A team against Zimbabwe.
Yeah, good evening, gents. Sorry, man, I missed the time.
It's still afternoon for us, Vickers.
Yeah, so for me, it's 9 o'clock. It was 8 o'clock, and then all of a sudden I check it's 9 o'clock. I was like, okay. Yeah, so no, on what you're saying, Scoop, and I heard what Jade's comment was on as well. Look, I would think that I understand what he's trying to say, but I would view it differently. I think it's more to bring in the young players to the Springbok setup so that they more or less know what is happening within the setup itself. I doubt it's for keeping the players, because, I mean, the SAA game is not a cap. So you still can't hold a player back in terms of the 5-year rule. So for me, I think it's just more like to give the guys the hunger to want to play for Springboks, because it's almost like when you go for orientation at the school, before you enroll at the school, you go for orientation and you see the school and you fall in love with the school. So I think it's basically that. I think it's more like getting the orientation done for those young players so that they actually want to play for Springbok one day. So yeah, I doubt it's more about keeping the players in. I would think differently on that one, but I mean, it's just Zimbabwe. It's not even Zimbabwe are not even. I mean, it's not. It's going to be like one of those games, man. So it's nothing. I would understand if we're talking about SAA playing SA Maoris, then we're talking. That will be what I would say. Yes, now that's a game, but it's just Zimbabwe, so I don't think there's much to it.
Because I have to jump in there. Say, SA is going to play SA Maoris.
New Zealand Maoris, New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand Maoris. Sorry.
Yeah, they must all be in Cape Town, those SA Maoris, definitely. Hilarious. We forgot the main news, guys, from this past week. I think the news came out last week, Sunday, after we had finished recording. But obviously now it's probably died down. But Vickers, Tony Brown being announced as the assistant coach for the All Blacks last week, Sunday. I think New Zealand Rugby had a purpose, just to maybe ruffle the feathers when it comes to the whole SA South African Springbok coaching group. But it's clear, Rassie has cleared it up and said, hey, Tony has always been upfront with us. Tony has been frank with us. He's told us that he's always wanted to go back home, but we've got him until 2028. But maybe New Zealand Rugby just wanted to say, hey, you're not the only guys that are in charge here. We also in charge. Here you go. Tony Brown, assistant coach, 2028. Also, the fact that he's announced as an assistant coach just gives me, confidence that maybe Dave Rennie might be extended. But they're talking about the extension being discussed next year, during Rugby Championship for Dave Rennie, that is. But anyway, the announcement, the timing, but also what Rassie has cleared that they've been frank to each other. Talk to me.
Yeah, Scoop, it's naughty. It's naughty from New Zealand Rugby. They did that very much on purpose. And it's basically they tried to curb the gossip because someone would have leaked it. Someone would have leaked it within the New Zealand Rugby. So they tried to make sure that they obviously announce first. But it's so funny though, because it's almost like, in rugby, we work with intellectual property. We work with intellectual property, we work with knowledge. And if you tell me that I'm leaving in a year and a bit's time, and I know that you basically going to be capturing everything that I'm doing. Like if my assistant is capturing everything that I'm doing as a head coach, and I know that guy is leaving, I'll be worried because I don't know. He's gonna obviously. It is about growth. It is about growing as a group, as a coaching group. But once you know that someone is leaving, you will tend to treat them differently because of the fact that you're worried about the intellectual property. And that's the questions that I've been asking myself: is that how is this next year going to be? I mean, not the New Zealand test. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this inbound tour. I'm talking about November test. I'm talking about going into the World Cup next year, the preparation for the World Cup. How is that now going to change in terms of knowing that this guy is leaving us? And whatever we're going to do, for example, who knows that South Africa, maybe they have a special thing that they've been doing for World Cups. That's why they've won the last two World Cups. Maybe there is something special they're doing. And now, one of these coaches that is here within us is going to know that. And he is going to take it to the next team that he's in, which is already, we know which team. So for me, that's always the problem. And it's very naughty by New Zealand Rugby, though. It's very naughty.
Geez, Vickers, you're speaking a lot of sense here. I mean, it's one of the things I also posted, I think it was Sunday, regarding IP. We saw some pundits or some commentators on social media saying that IP doesn't really matter, Jade. IP is not an important factor in this day and age. And I thought, I didn't respond to some of the posts, but I thought to myself exactly what Vickers is saying right now, that you've got all these special moments or these special tactics for certain teams because you know how New Zealand play. You know how Australia's going to approach it. You know how England is going to approach it. You know how France is going to approach it. You know how Ireland is going to approach it, etc., right? But some people feel that you play one game this weekend, next weekend you practically tear up that script and start something different. I don't believe that. I don't truly believe that. There's certain things that stay within the group week in, week out. There's certain detail that stays within the group week in, week out. You don't tear up the whole script and start something new for a different test to actually you don't get continuity like that. But talk to me regarding what Vickers is saying, regarding Tony Brown, regarding the announcement, the timing. Praat me day.
Now, Vickers, I mean, obviously, Vickers has coached rugby at the international level and at the UFC level, and he knows exactly, the brainstorming and everything goes into it, from an IP perspective. I mean, you got to look at the influence that Tony Brown has had in South Africa. The way he came into the squad, the role and the freedom he was given from Rassie. It wasn't just like, he was given a free role, Rassie. Listen, you take your plans and you make this team go up to the next level and evolve this team. And that's what he done. And obviously, Tony Brown had to come in. He couldn't just come in and apply what he does, what we call a Tony Brown bowling. He had to go and look at the strength and where it's going to work, in terms of how I can get this team back. So he had to do a real in-depth analysis on this team to try and get into the next level, and try and to get them to play more expansive, or I wouldn't say that. I would say evolve the game. I think that's what they did. What he did, he took the Boks to a new height. They were on a high, and he just elevated the game. So for me, that was shows the responsibility and, the respect that Rassie gave him in terms of that. Whether or not, I mean, he's going to go to New Zealand with all of the IP and he's going to steal X, Y, or Z. He knows already what the Boks is about. He knows he's worked with guys for 2 or 3 years. He knows certain plays, how they shape up defensively, where their weaknesses are, what they can't do on attack, certain plays, that need more time on the ball at split second because they're uncomfortable passing, or they can't make a bridge pass or, what, Scoop, I'm getting towards that. He knows that.
Yeah.
But Rassie respects him. And I don't think Rassie's going to tell him, listen, bro, Tony, I'm sorry, we're not going to rely on your IP now. Rassie's going to be clever. He's going to be smart. He knew this was coming. He's still going to give him that respect in the squad. He's still going to allow him to work with the squad. It's not like he's going to say, right, Tony, okay, you sit at the back now. You're not going to be involved here. And for me, for Tony Brown, at the end of the day, he's got what he wanted. He wanted to be a part of that All Black team. I mean, for years now, for cycles, he's been ignored. He hasn't gotten the job. I think he applied under, it was the Foster regime the first time. He tried, he didn't get in. Then he tried again with the Razor. They didn't select him. So, I mean, there's now 2 or 3 cycles that they haven't looked at him. Now he's finally in.
But let's not forget, under Foster, he said he has to come with Joseph.
Jamie Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph, yeah. But anyway, he was in that setup or so, he was in the talks. And he finally got his dream job where he wanted to coach the All Blacks. He wanted to be a part of the setup. So you got to give him that respect as well. I still think, for the next 2 years or so, until the World Cup, I still think you'll still get Tony Brown giving 100% towards the Boks. I think he'll give 100%. There's no way. Nothing tells me that if the Boks plays the All Blacks in the final, he will be the inside man that gives that rope, that gives information away to the All Blacks. I think it's professional, and I think the world is professional in terms of that. I don't see it as going to happen like that. Wasn't it John Mitchell that worked with Eddie Jones in 2019? Was it John Mitchell? Wasn't he was with Eddie Jones at the World Cup 2019 and knocked New Zealand out? I think so.
Oof.
I think it was one of the assistants. But anyway, you're going to get something like that. Unfortunately, it's a global game, guys. It's a global game. The only stubborn country is New Zealand that doesn't look at international coaches. So Africa's got it right. They got it right with Felix Jones. They got it right with Tony Brown. So yeah, New Zealand's the only country around the world that's stubborn in terms of the coaches. That only appoints New Zealand coaches.
Oof.
So I think Tony Brown will still be professional up until then. And I think it's a masterstroke from Lancaster. But he had to do this. He had to get the public on board because obviously he came in with a lot of backlash. Everybody was leaving. It's so much talks of the eligibility and the game is dying and crowds is not going into Super Rugby, X, Y, and Z. He had to make this a marquee signing, as they would say in football terms, and get Tony Brown in just to win some confidence amongst the public.
Vickers, your hand has been up all day.
No, I wanted to just comment on what Jade is talking about. The problem is that it's not necessarily that he can go in and change things to try and simulate what the Boks are doing. It's more about learning, for example, like small things, man, selection criteria. Like that's so simple. Like that is so simple. When we talk about selection criteria, he'll probably find out why Peter Steph Tutoy was moved to 7. A simple thing like that, like I say, we copied some of the things from New Zealand. We saw that New Zealand, what they're doing is that they're taking fullbacks and moving them to wing when they get into the All Black setup. And then I think that was under Graham Henry, and then obviously Hansen as well. They moving them to wing, and then they later on, like Israel Dag, moving to fullback. Will Jordan, a couple of guys. I think, some guys have played wing and moved to fullback. So I think Dougie Howlett as well. Like that is something that is quite important in terms of how you select your squads. But now, because he's been in South Africa, he will start to understand how the selection is, and he will have a lot more influence in that New Zealand setup, the coaching setup. When, for example, if things don't go well next year, okay, let's say things don't go well next year, he's going to come in, he's going to bring in that South African mindset that he's worked with for the last 4 years, how they can select the squads and how are they using the alignment camps. What is the focus in certain camps? Those kind of things, like I said, Jay, those are very hidden high IP. That's why, if you notice now with cricket, was it cricket or even soccer, when they were spying on the opposition team training, that has become a world big thing about spying on your opposition.
I think West Ham in football, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was Southampton in football.
Yeah, you all
I can't
get on the
remember.
lay.
I think it was Canada. I think it was Canada in the Cricket World Cup. So those kind of things have become massive in rugby, in sport in general. So for me, I'm not worried too much about, obviously, it's just that World Cup build-up. He's already got everything. He's already knows everything. But it's the build-up to the World Cup that is going to become important, because South Africa are not going to change the build-up. They've done 2 build-ups. They've won 2 World Cups. They're not going to change the build-up. They're not going to change the way they operate on, like, for example, the rotation of players. Let's talk about that. The rotation of players. Because you know that Rassie has been using a lot of rotation leading to the World Cup. So now, all of a sudden, Tony Brown knows what they've been doing, and he's going to try to do that. I've coached a national team and I've coached a club. With my national team, I played a different game plan to my club, because my club was the one that was paying me, and my assistant coach was my competitor. My assistant coach was my competitor at club level, but he was my assistant coach at national level. I had to come up with 2 different game plans. It's terrible. I promise you. It's money. It's a money sport. So money sport, these kind of things have become very important.
What a time to be alive. Jay, heb jy gehoor, my bro? But anyway, I know, guys, we're still doing news, eh? Can you believe it? We haven't even broken down Chiefs. We haven't broken down Super Rugby. We haven't broken down Premiership. We haven't even discussed the preview for the Bulls and Leinster. Still with the news. Can you believe it? Sasha Rassie says Sasha Feinberg Ngomezulu will be ready 6 weeks before the first 4 tests against New Zealand. Great news, Jade. Everyone was worried that we won't be able to see Sasha, but by the end of August, by the end of July, he's ready, or mid-July, he'll be ready. So that's good. And then also, Kobus Reinach will also be ready. So, yeah, it looks like the Springboks will be at full throttle come the New Zealand tests. In the greatest rivalry this coming 2 months from August 22. Yeah, Jade.
So the Boks are getting now. So the Boks are going now and getting Mama Naholo to look after the players.
It's a miracle.
I seen Peter Steff and Luat as well.
Yeah,
they ready.
It's miracles. They were injured. They were all injured during club season, but now come international season, everyone is a spring chicken.
Now they're ready. Mama Naholo.
But Vickers, you're happy to see that Sasha is coming back?
Yeah, very much. Because I mean, the performance we've seen from Pollard lately hasn't been impressive. So I think it's a good thing that Sasha is coming back, just to give a little bit of competition at the 10 jersey. Because we all know South Africa actually doesn't have a 10. Let's be honest.
How?
They
Mani is coming back injury free.
Yeah, but he's been out. He actually has had the jersey, but he fell out of the jersey. I think that's part of the reason why he left South Africa. I have a feeling that's part of the reason why he left. So I don't know. For me, I think South Africa are in very much desperate need of another 10. If you look at if Sasha gets injured, then you got Pollard. Obviously, Pollard has got the jersey. He's maintained the jersey for many years.
So there's no one behind
you
Sasha.
Need, yeah, you could say Mzwandile Stick, but you need another strong contender at 10. And I think, I mean, if we look at everything now, a guy like Johan Goosen, they lost because he didn't kick on.
Yeah.
You lost another, I think there's another fly half, Van der Walt at the Bulls. I don't know where he is. You got, who else is another 10?
Hendrickse.
Hendrickse, yes, Hendrickse. But Hendrickse, that's the thing with Hendrickse. I don't know if, obviously, I don't know the kind of influence that Rassie has within the club system, because if you're going to use Hendricks as a 10 at international level, he shouldn't be allowed to play 15 at club level.
Mm.
Same as Damien Willemse. If you're going to use him at 15 and 12 at international level, he shouldn't be allowed to jump in at 10 and 11 at wing. Like, what for?
That was a stretch for top.
Yeah, because like, and then you come up and tell us that it's because of the high ball, you're trying to control high. Come on. So for me, that's one of the things that I always say is that I just don't get sometimes how players are being pushed left and right and center. I mean, the best players play their positions year in, year out.
Yeah.
They don't get shifted anyway. And
I mean, Vickers, not to cut you, sorry. I mean, Will Jordan, I don't think we've ever seen him play another position at Super Rugby, ever. 15 right through 100%. And through. It's 8
right
years
through.
now.
And I mean, if you even look at Rico started being better at 13. But when he was jumping 11, 13, he was also like nowhere.
Mm.
So I think that's a big issue when it comes to centralized players, centralizing contracts. Because I mean, South Africa, I think, have sort of like a half and half. I think they should have a massive influence in terms of how the teams are picking players' positions. And also, it's about high time that South Africa steps in. We spoke about it last week. Sorry to make it long. We spoke about it last week. How does the Springbok coach allow Papier to sign with the Sharks? It would be beyond me, for example. Unless Jaden is leaving, unless Grant is leaving. That's what I'm thinking in my books. Because you need all your nines. In fact, the fact that you had Jaden and Grant in one team, you should have broken up those guys. One must start somewhere else, so that they play competitively every weekend, so that they can get better at their basic skills.
No, that's fair. No, that is fair. Moving on. Before we jump on to the games of the past weekend, news coming from Ireland. We all heard that James Lowe is leaving. There was rumors about Bandi Aki. Farrell said he expected Lowe and Aki to sign new contracts. But I mean, Aki has agreed on a 1-year deal to stay with Connacht, but Lowe is set to leave, guys. Contract expires at the end of the summer, and now he's been linked with Japanese side Suntory Sun Goliath. So we know what that means. Is this his way of saying I'm retiring from international rugby? Because moving to Japan will mean that he doesn't get selected for the Irish team, because Ireland have that policy when it comes to selecting players outside of Ireland. So James Lowe, do we think that he's retiring, Jade, from international rugby? So if he goes to Japan, that's his international season gone. He's 33, turning 34 this year. What are your thoughts here?
I don't think he goes to Japan if he's not eligible to play for Ireland a year out of the World Cup. I don't think so. I think he still has an eye on this World Cup. I mean, he was a British and Irish Lion last year as well, so it shows that, I mean, he's still capable of playing at the highest level. So I don't think he goes to Japan without an agreement that, he can still represent Ireland. I think it'll be similar to what happened with Johnny Sexton a few years ago when he went to Racing. I think it'll be similar to something like that. Interesting with a guy like James Lowe. Remember that he is a New Zealander after all, and if he goes to Japan, you can see him going back, trying after the Japan stint, playing 1 or 2 seasons again at, I think he's from Hawke's Bay, in the NPC and something like that, because he'll do that, he'll go back. And then for me, if you're looking at it and you're looking at guys' paths and careers paths, it's easier, if you do have ambitions of becoming a coach, to get a gig in New Zealand at one of the NPC teams than to get a gig in Ireland at the moment, because there's only 4 real professional teams in it. Compared to, it's easier that way, So I think after rugby, I think that's maybe the plan of him, to go back that way. But yeah, in terms of next year, I don't think he signs for Sun Goliath if he's not eligible to play for Ireland. He'll definitely not give up that World Cup dream.
But wasn't the problem that Leinster don't want to sign him because they're paying him too much and he doesn't get to play for them fully. He's with Ireland most of the year, and that's why they say that the salary that they're paying him doesn't make sense because he hardly plays for Leinster. So then they were saying that Ireland should be taking the bulk of the contract, and then Leinster will cover the shortfall, but not for Leinster to cover the contract and then Ireland to cover the shortfall.
Yeah, Jade.
No, I was just making.
It was like making a comment. I thought you were going to jump in this.
No.
Yeah, but that makes sense for you because they are centrally contracted in Ireland. It makes sense, if that is a situation. But I mean, yeah, the East contract talks and the East teams from outside, snooping around or so. And I mean, this has gone on for weeks without a resolution. I still think, he stays around. I mean, I don't think Ireland would open up their gates for, a player to go and play in Japan and then be selected for them. I don't think they want to do that. They want to protect their game, Scoop.
Yeah, for me personally, I'm not following this James Lowe thing. I mean, for me, he must just leave. It's been, a lot of Irish or Leinster supporters are already talking about him being old already. The fact that we're still talking about a 33-year-old winger for an international side, for me, it just shows how bad the Irish development is at the moment. Because if James Lowe leaves this year, at the end of this season, if Jamison Gibson Park leaves at the end of this season, do you know how thin that Irish team looks backline wise? Because they've lost Johnny Sexton, they haven't had a playmaker for such a long time, and now Jamison Gibson Park, it looks like he is the playmaker for that Irish team already. And James Lowe, you have to give him the ball in order to gain some ground with that Irish or Leinster team. I mean, look at what he did to Simelani, obviously. A fend from God, basically. One arm. He's been that kind of a player for Leinster and Ireland for such a long time, and Ireland haven't had or managed to develop somebody who's coming behind him. And Ireland haven't managed or developed someone who's going to come behind Jamison Gibson Park. They're going to be in a very, very tough spot. They are lucky in one area because they've got very strong forward pack, but their backline is going to be in shambles. Their attack is going to be in shambles.
They canceled the sevens, so they'll be even worse trouble.
Because that skill set and that development now falls out the window. Now kids are going to come straight from high school or straight from the under-20 program into those scenarios. Some of them are going to be protected by playing in a good side like Leinster and obviously not be shown out. But for example, if you look at UBB, they exposed them. They exposed them on D. They were in shambles on defense in that game.
Yeah, and Scoop, you remember, I think we had a discussion about this about 3 years ago. And I was talking about, when I was talking to the Connect coach, he was telling us that the biggest problem that they have in Ireland is that the number 7 and the number 8 prop, maybe loose head or tight head at academy level, for Leinster, will rather stay at Leinster than move to Connect to be second or third.
Oof.
So that's the problem that they have at the moment, is that the Irish kids that are coming out of under-20s would rather go and play for Leinster academy side than go sign a contract with a Connect with your Ulster maybe.
Yeah.
In terms of, so that's the biggest problem with the Ireland Sevens. It was easier because then they can sign the Leinster contract and then still be released to the Sevens, and then they can play internationally, which is competitive rugby, and then come back better players. I mean, Hugo Keenan is a perfect example. The current winger, actually the tall winger that is playing now, he's at Ulster, I think. He started at the Sevens. So they've got a lot of guys that have gone through that route, that actually it helped them to get to that next point. They develop. But now, if you're just gonna put players in academy systems, the academy system doesn't get competitive rugby.
Yeah.
Because the Leinster Academy plays against all the other academies and dominates.
Yeah.
So it's pointless. So that's the problem, the development that they're gonna miss.
Yeah. And I think James Lowe just wants to get closer back to his roots. If he moves to Japan, that is, he just wants to get closer to his roots. And as Jade has alluded to as well, that's what I thought. I mean, closer to Japan. Now you've got a 6-7 hour flight to New Zealand instead of spending 24 hours to fly back home from Ireland. He'll be closer to home. And also being in Japan, you meet all your other New Zealanders as well in that mix. And then maybe look at coaching in Japan once you finish your stint there, and then move back home, where you can also continue with some coaching as well. We saw that with the likes of your Tana Umaga at Leicester as well. He played, he coached, moved back home after a while. Jerome Kainu is still in Toulouse, by the way, but he'll probably move back once upon a time. But nonetheless, guys, into the nitty-gritty. The semi-finals, Chiefs versus Crusaders. I think I've said my piece regarding this. I think Crusaders are in a not in a bad spot per se, because also we're getting rid of a Penny. But in terms of experience, I think we lacked a bit of experience in this competition this season. We lacked of players being starting 10s and starting 12, starting 10, starting 13. We didn't have some stability in those positions. We've got a good forward pack. It's starting to grow. We missed Barrett quite a lot, especially at line-out time. But James, Hannah and Shalfoon did quite a reasonably good job. Maybe Barrett can slot in at 6. But at the same time, I think, we need some strong backline players. And I think we need a player, especially when it comes to 10. Some experience there would be very good for the Crusaders. Maybe they can start shopping for next season already.
But Scoop, you had all of those guys. I mean, if you look at the roster 3 years ago, Crusaders was stacked.
But calm down, Jade. Rustig. But we have Moanga coming back next season at 10, so we'll get some solid foundation there. I mean, McLeod and Eno are already leaving, so I think a 13 would be good. Maybe a young 13. But I mean, what's his name has decided to leave? Who was this boy at Hurricanes now? Decided to go to Scotland. I mean, that could have been a position for him, because we already know David Havili is also leaving. Now imagine if, what's this guy's name now, Jade, at Hurricanes, who left for Scotland? I like this boy. Riley Higgins. I mean, he would have been a very good 12 for the Crusaders, I believe. And also he would have been playing for such a great team.
But you got Connor Roberts, right? Connor Roberts is one of the best.
Still young. That's my issue. We're still young. We're lacking experience, because now if you look at the numbers, when you look at the Chiefs side, the Chiefs side has been together. This Chiefs side has been together now probably since 2019 going on to 2020. Unfortunately, we had the COVID situation. So let's say 21 until to date. And they've kept on building and building. Yes, they didn't win the championship, but they've kept on building and building and losing finals, losing semifinals, etc., etc. And they kept on losing to the Crusaders. And this is the first time the Chiefs have won convincingly in a playoff against the Crusaders in this on this side of the decade, that is. And looking at what they've built and looking at the experience, all their players now in that starting lineup almost are 90 to 100 games of Super Rugby. That's the experience you want, because now you've been there, you've done it. It's easier now to go into a semi-final with level-headed players. I think that Chiefs and Crusaders, because they've been building for so long, and Crusaders had a stack of players that were leaving, and even now they've got a stack of players leaving, now which means you have to put in the youngsters in the mix, and you have to put the youngsters very quickly. But with that said, it's not a bad thing that the Chiefs and the Hurricanes are in the semifinals, because they've been the two best sides of this competition.
To add to that, what you're saying there in terms of the Chiefs, right? I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. And I mean, if you look at the players coming in, they came into a team. You look at what's his name, Coops Fabling. You look at Jamal Falau and the center. Kyle Brown, Hutchinson. Look how those guys came into the squad and like, wow, check this guy. I mean, they just come in with a solid foundation and they can come in and express themselves. Whereas with the Crusaders and the Blues, for example, it's difficult because those guys have to come in and play a senior role in the team, although they've only got a handful of caps as well, you know. I mean, you look at the Chiefs tight head prop, Ahoy. He came from Sione Ahoy. He came from the Blues. And yesterday he destroyed, on Friday, he destroyed the Crusaders pack. He destroyed Bauer and Mzwandile Stick. So for me, you know, you got to look at that foundation and the way you're sitting. And I think at the moment, the two teams playing in the final is the Hurricanes and the Chiefs, and they both got that foundation where youngsters can come in and automatically they can be at ease. They can just play their game because they've got a strong foundation and they've got a lot of caps.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it's just going to grow from these two sides, to be honest, because no one is set to leave for next season. So Hurricanes are still going to be quite significantly strong, if not stronger. Chiefs are going to be significantly strong, if not stronger, because that Chiefs team also goes deep. The Hurricanes team goes deep on the bench. The Chiefs team goes deep. I mean, they've got internationals sitting on their bench, international players sitting on their benches. So there's those two sides. Because if you look at Crusaders and Blues, which internationals did they have that were sitting on the bench? Zero internationals. So that's why I'm saying these two teams are fully deserving to be playing in a semi-final. I mean, the Blues tried; they did their best in the first half, and you thought, hey, hang on a second, this could be competitive. But in the second half, it took the Hurricanes about 12 to 15 minutes to start finding cracks and also the pace of the game. And then once you start making those tweaks and changes, because the Blues had to make changes in the first half. So you don't have fresh legs come the last quarter of the game. And the Hurricanes had fresh legs come the last quarter. And now we have internationals slotting in and running the ball at pace. And now all of a sudden it's a totally different game. It's a totally different scoreboard. Because I think the Blues should have scored first in that second half to put pressure on Hurricanes, but they couldn't do it. But then at the end of the day, you can go and look at the Blues and say, well, it's been like that all season. So it's understandable that there was no fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear in the last 20. But when you look at the Hurricanes, you can say they always turn it up a notch. Third gear, fourth gear, sixth gear, the last 20 to 30 minutes. With the Chiefs, a very good team that starts very well. So now Saturday, next week, we'll see two different teams with two different styles, because one team, the Chiefs, very good for first 40 minutes in this competition. The Hurricanes, their best second 40 is their second half. So now if the game is a stalemate at halftime, who's the one to go all the way? Because the last time those two teams met, the game had to go to extra time. And we know what extra time means in New Zealand. First team that scores win the game. And the Chiefs were lucky. They had a certain element or different scenario in terms of them leading up to that score. But the Hurricanes were on attack, and it was turnover ball, quick play, kick up and under. Ball is not caught by anyone. It lands up in no man's land. Satiti in a very good position, scores under the sticks. Chiefs win the game. 50-50 stuff. But I think the Hurricanes will have learned from that going into this final. But the Chiefs will also have learned certain lessons, because they had to come back from a deficit against the Hurricanes in that game to take it to extra time. So we've got two very different styles. We've got two teams that can go deep on the bench. We've got two teams that can go toe-to-toe when it comes to the forward pack. We know the Chiefs will be missing Satiti, but man, they can still put on a good show. They can still put on a very, very, very strong attack against the Hurricanes. I don't know, Jade, what do you think? And Vickers, what are your thoughts overall regarding this after Jade?
Oh, you know what? Just apologies for your background noise. I'm just dropping my kid quickly off here training. But you know what? If you're looking at the Chiefs and you're looking at the way they played and you're looking at how they they came together. I mean, we thought a few weeks ago, we looked at Chiefs, especially that game against the Reds, where they played in Brisbane. They were flat. They were lucky to win that game. And from there, I think they turned the table because we thought that what is, what's the coach's name? John Gibbs. What is his game plan? Is he going on the same game plan as last year? Or is he going on, is he building up, is he playing, is he trying to evolve the game? But what I've seen with the Chiefs now is they've got a strong scrum. They've got a very strong scrum. They've got, Ollie Norris has came back into the team. They've got Josh Law he's looking like international lock now. Tupovai's kicked on. And their loosies are the strong point because they have 5 or 6 solid loosies who can all fit in regardless of what happens or regardless of who gets injured. So for me, that's the Chiefs. The Chiefs' strength is up top. It's really been their strength as far. And Quintu Paya has been the one, getting them over the advantage line. When they go flat, or when he's the one getting the advantage line, he's been the magic man and the X-Factor player. Now for me, we mentioned now Wallace Titi won't be playing. How fit is Quintu Paya going to be in this final scoop? Do you know?
Keep him out the final. Keep him out the final. Let's save him for the All Blacks.
Could it be? We've seen it before. We're playing it rushed into the final, to play, and it's not at 100%, and then it just buggers up the season, Maybe he's trapping and playing, and it's just not at 100%. So for me, that's my concern with the Chiefs is what are they going to do regarding Quintu Paya? Easy 100% because I spoke about the loosies. I said you got Lachlan Boucher to come in. He's not even in the National 23. I mean, you had Finau Parker, the TT, Jacobson. What's this guy that they signed from? They signed this kid from the Brumbies, Brown. So they had solid loosies. So, I mean, those guys could come in. But who will replace Quintu Paya and do that role, They've got Brown, they've got Fouquetti, but they've not Quintu Paya. So for me, that's a big one there. That could be the final just there. And especially, against the likes of Jody Barrett. The last game they played, they won. We said Titi scored that try against Hurricanes. Jody Barrett was quiet. It was quiet that game, Although Quintu Paya played outside center, but Jody Barrett was quiet. And the same Proctor was quiet as well. So that's my concern with this final. And if you're going up against the Hurricanes, you know what they're going to do. They're going to bring intensity for 80 minutes. They're going to hit you at the breakdown. The amount of work and IP that the likes of Holland and Clark Laidlaw put into the breakdown this season, the way they counteract at times, the way they hit you, the way they force you to put 2 or 3 extra players into the ruck because of the physicality at the breakdown. That's for them. That gives them the inch. The thing with the Hurricanes is the Hurricanes don't allow you in their 22. They don't allow you in that 22, and the Chiefs and teams know it. They don't give you any change to get into the 22. You're going to have to go penalty and try and get in, but they're not going to allow free entrance into the 22. So for me, how's the Chiefs going to handle this scoop? I personally want the Chiefs to win because we got a listener over here, Wanda, who's been bugging me all year about this. I want the Chiefs to win. I really want them to win. And I want to get the monkey off their back, with that whole monkey.
Hey, Wanda has been unstoppable, eh? Yo.
Yeah, Wanda's been bugging.
It's the only time the Hurricanes get to have some fun and smile because
Wanda even called out the New York Knicks this morning. Yeah, you want to, but can you beat the Hurricanes on the windy night in Wellington? But
crazy business.
No, man.
But anyway.
But I don't know how's it gonna go. But I would look at it, Josh Law the weekend against Warner Durns is gonna be one contest I'm looking forward to, especially in that dominance. That's gonna be one contest.
Let's go.
How they're gonna get rid of, the double threated breakdown was Peter Lakai and Duplessis Griffey. They are double threated breakdown. That allows Asafo Moore, to run into the wider
because
channels,
Jacobson was a one-man show for the Chiefs on Saturday, and he made, I think, 4 or 5 turnovers.
He was. He's been, Jacobson is one of those guys, that he's been brilliant at Super Rugby. And you always say this guy has to be in the All Black squad, but I mean, it just doesn't cut out to be in that All Black squad, but it doesn't mean that he's not a good player. He's a very, very good player at Super Rugby level. Brad Shields as well, been a silent assassin for them this season, eh? Been a silent leader for them. So that's my thing. And obviously, everybody's going to point to the DMAC versus Ruben Love contest, the DMAC, but secretly over the past few weeks, and the Chiefs have been playing better, but that's been because Quarters Rattam has been playing better rugby, Scoop. He's been getting faster. D-Mac's been getting better service at 10. Or Jacobson been getting better
He
service
actually
at
was
10.
the difference on Saturday as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. For me, I want the Chiefs to win it. It's going to be difficult in Wellington. Goal kicking's definitely going to play a part. I've seen Ruben Lab. He had a 10 out of 10 the week before, and yesterday he struggled a bit. But then you got a banker in Jody Barrett.
Yeah.
You know, they can just come on and keep the tea. So for me, I fancy and I want the Chiefs to get over the line this time. But what's this guy that they signed from? They signed this kid from the Brumbies, Brown. So they had solid Lucy. So I mean, those guys could come in, but who will replace Quintu Paya and do that role? You know, they've got Brown, they've got Fouquetti, but they're not Quintu Paya. So for me, you know, that's a big one there. That could be the final just there, and especially against the likes of Jody Barrett. The last game they played, they won. We said Titi scored a try against Hurricanes. Jody Barrett was quiet. It was quiet that game, although Quintu Pai played outside center, but Jody Barrett was quiet. And the same Proctor was quiet as well. So that's my concern with this final. And if you're going up against Hurricanes, you know what they're going to do. They're going to bring intensity for 80 minutes. They're going to hit you at the breakdown. The amount of work and IP that the likes of Holland and Clark Laidlaw put into the breakdown this season, the way they counteract at times, the way they hit you, the way they force you to put 2 or 3 extra players into the ruck because of the physicality of the breakdown. That's for them. That gives them the inch. The thing with Hurricanes is Hurricanes don't allow you in their 22. They don't allow you in that 22, and the Chiefs and teams know it. They don't give you any change to get into the 22. You're going to have to go penalty and try and get in, but they're not going to allow free entrance into the 22. So for me, how's the Chiefs going to handle this, Scoop? I personally want the Chiefs to win because we got a listener over here, Wanda, who's been bugging me all year about this. I want the Chiefs to win. I really want them to win. And I want to get the monkey off their back, that whole monkey.
Hey, Wanda has been unstoppable, eh? Yo.
Yeah, Wanda's been bugging.
It's the only time the Hurricanes get to have some fun and smile because
Wanda even called out the New York Knicks this morning. Yeah, you want to, but can you beat the Hurricanes on a windy night in Wellington? But
crazy business.
No, man.
But anyway.
But I don't know how's it gonna go. But I would look at it, Josh Lord the weekend against Warner Duns is gonna be one contest I'm looking forward to, especially in that dominance. That's gonna be one contest.
Let's go.
How they're gonna get rid of, the double threated breakdown with Peter Lakai and Duplessis Greffy. They are double threated breakdown. That allows Asafo Amoa, to run into the wider
because
channels,
Jacobson was a one-man show for the Chiefs on Saturday, and he made, I think, 4 or 5 turnovers.
He was. He's been, Jacobson is one of those guys, that he's been brilliant at Super Rugby. And you always say this guy has to be in the All Black squad, but I mean, it just doesn't cut out to be in that All Black squad, but it doesn't mean that he's not a good player. He's a very, very good player at Super Rugby level. Brad Shields as well, been a silent assassin for them this season. Been a silent leader for them. So that's my thing. And obviously, everybody's going to point to the D-Mac versus Ruben Love contest, the D-Mac with Pat. Secretly, over the past few weeks, and the Chiefs have been playing better, but that's been because Quartus Rattam has been playing better rugby, Scoop. He's been getting faster. D-Mac's been getting better service at 10. Or Jacobson been getting better service.
He actually was the difference on Saturday as well.
Yeah. So, I don't know. For me, I want the Chiefs to win it. It's going to be difficult in Wellington. Goal kicking's definitely going to play a part. I've seen Ruben Lab. He had a 10 out of 10 the week before, and yesterday he struggled a bit. But then you got a banker in Jody Barrett. They can just come on and keep the tea. So for me, I fancy and I want the Chiefs to get over the line this time, but it's going to be tough against the Hurricanes team. I mean, if they can throw on a guy like Kini Naholo to run at you in the last 10 minutes, they've got that luxury from the bench. And I mean, Kini Naholo is no slouch.
Where's Narawa?
No slouch. Narawa was, I think he's still injured.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, I don't think Atkinson's also going to play in the final. That looked like he did his knee, So they're going to have to readjust the Chiefs.
That's so sad. That is so sad. Like such a pivotal moment and a pivotal time to showcase those skills and also maybe get a selection. Because we know this time next week, Sunday, Dave Rennie will have announced his squad. they've already shot the breakdown today. So we know this time next week, Dave Rennie is sitting in studio.
It's Monday morning.
Would they make it Monday morning? Dave Rennie should already know who his squad is, but he'll be there watching the final.
He said he knows his squad, but it's Monday morning at, I think it's at his rugby club that they're announcing the squad.
Jeez, how sentimental.
The first All Black squad is always done on radio. That's how it's done for the year. They still go that old school, so they still mention it on radio, and that's how they do it.
Yeah, but at the same time, the breakdown can also move their TV crew and presenters.
The breakdown moves they're scheduled to. They'll have a special broadcast for on Monday morning or on Monday.
All right. Fair enough. Vickers, I assume you haven't watched too much Super Rugby to hear and understand what we are talking about.
No,
but it would be interesting.
I actually picked up a couple of things. I mean, I watched the semi-final.
Nice.
I missed the Crusaders game. I watched the Hurricanes Blues. Yeah, so I think I'll catch the final as well because when I looked at my time, the game kicks off at 3 p.m. on my side, so which is perfect.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so it's just that I'm confused with the times, but I managed to watch a game this last weekend, and the stream seems to be working quite nicely because of the Soccer World Cup. So those clowns have fixed it. But anyway, as group, you guys are talking some real good players here that are coming through, young players. I mean, when I looked at Peter Lakai on the weekend, I was like, this is a proper. And this guy is fighting for a jersey with Sititi. Imagine having that is your problem. Imagine having that as your problem. So at some point, they will have to make decisions on who they wanted 7, who they wanted 8, because I think both guys deserve to be in the team, especially with Adi Savia probably playing his last World Cup next year. Then I feel for a guy like Kirifi. Like I feel for him. He really is dominant at that level, at Super Rugby level. But I don't know. We haven't seen him enough at international. But I think he just needs a backing. I think he's just one of those guys that, yes, he's gonna look lost in the first. He's probably looked lost anyway in the first 2 years or 3 years, but with time he'll get better. But then he's not getting any younger because I think he's probably 28, 29 now.
No. I think 26, 7.
No, man, it's Jody Barrett's age. He's 20.
Oh, is it?
20.
Then he's old.
Yeah.
Then he's old.
So that's my problem is that I was thinking, yes, he's a little bit old for sitting on the bench or sitting on the trenches because he should be the one that is kicking in. But I mean, Adi's got the jersey at the moment as a fetcher. But then again, look, I think Ruben Lava watched a little bit, and I thought he controlled the game quite nicely. Although I did feel like having Cam Roigard, it helps a lot. I think he's probably the best scrum-half. Look, if New Zealand win the World Cup next year, I'm gonna call it as Roigard being the best scrum-half in the world. Because honestly,
that's the only way they can win it. If it's fit.
Because obviously because of France. Well, I mean, we all know Dupont, but what I've seen from Roigard is that he isn't the playmaker, but he creates opportunities. Whereas Dupont is a playmaker who likes to do things to create. Whereas Roigard is spotting the gaps, is spotting the weaknesses of the opposition. I don't think because if you look at the way Dupont plays, he's very much on his own, and he knows that he's got the backing because he's got the offload game. I mean, he's a French, he's got the offload game. But with Roigard, he's not necessarily on the offload game, but more on I'm gonna hit the spaces, I'm gonna go. But then I know how to get myself out of trouble. And I think that's what is good for me. And there's obviously support lines are brilliant. And then obviously the 10 jersey, obviously like you said, you guys said the Crusaders having Maunga next year will see something different from the Crusaders. But other than that, it's I think New Zealand can be happy with the forward pack. I honestly think New Zealand should be happy with the forward pack. With the right coaching,
This year.
this year they should be happy with the forward pack. It's just that 10 jersey is still a little bit of a niggle for me. It's
It is.
still a bit of a niggle. And I feel like when Mo'unga comes back, I mean, everyone's gonna pray and hold wood every day that Mo'unga doesn't get injured, because again you're gonna go back to the same thing that you did last year. But other than that, things are looking good. I'm looking forward to the final. As Jade said, Chiefs win, I'll be happy. But obviously, yes, the Hurricanes team is looking very strong.
Yeah, you
Because
can see.
I want to pick your brain here quickly. I mean, isn't it great? I mean, we always looked at it with the past decade or so and said you needed 2 players at least with a triple threat, on attack. Your kicking, your passing, and your running game. And I mean, that is why you see teams now having 2 or 3 players in the back line with a triple threat. Now you're looking at the Hurricanes. They've got 4 players there, that has a triple threat. It's Roigard, Love, Jody Barrett, and Hawken at fullback. Good kickers, can pass and run the ball. And if you look at the Boks backline, who? Moby? Okay, Moby as well, but I mean not. But if you look at the Boks backline, their evolution in the past few years has been because they had Sasha in, they scrum off. It was also a triple threat. They've always had Willie or Damon Willemse there, and then Cheslin Colby, silent assassin in terms of a triple threat. They've also had 4 players with a triple threat. Isn't it brilliant if a backline or a team can have 4 players or 5 players in that backline with a triple threat, and it just gives them much, much more options. I think that is why the Hurricanes are so brilliant this year. Because how do you go about, players having that triple threat, in the backline?
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, you've missed one player, Arense. You remember Arense scored some willy-nilly tries last year from nothing. So you got Arense as well in that mix. So it's a big problem. I think, like you said, Jed, I think that's always been the key thing, though, is that you need that kind of players at the back, because if the forwards are gonna maul and scrum and carry all day, they will get tired. And you need those special backline players to step up and do the business. And I think that's where a lot of teams have missed it. And I mean, a guy like Mzwandile at 12 was always prominent for the Boks because he's an extra forward. So they've got 9 forwards, and which is why he likes Andre Esterhuizen as well. But you always had those freebies. I mean, your Cheslins, your Damon Willems, the guys that can create something out of nothing. And I think that's I've always believed that that's where when you select a team, especially at test level, you need those players that will beat a player one-on-one. Because remember, everyone has a great defense coach. I mean, if we can continue talking about defense coaches, we'll talk about all day. He's never considered a try in the first phase. He's never considered tries after the first 20 minutes. All of that. So until you have players like that can bring in that element of one-on-one, I'll beat you, I'll gain some ground for my forward to come and then dominate the phases from there. That's what you've always needed. And I think that's where like South Africa's got the balance. And I feel like that's where New Zealand missed the balance because of the fact that they lacked a 10. Roigard was injured most of the time. Christie was starting. Actually, when we talk about it, Razor had a really bad time for New Zealand because he never had Roigard and he never had a 10. He had Jody at 12. He had Ione at 13, which is he was up and down. Jordan was actually injured. I don't know how many
Reece on the wing.
He put Reece on wing. He put Jay's favorite player, Magazole at 11. Until he had Caleb Clark and then Caleb Clark came in.
Magazole
Talia. So I think Razor had a tough time, but like we're talking now, I mean, making jokes out of it, but honestly, if they can select those players that you're talking about, Jade, with those triple traits, I think it will be great for New Zealand.
Yeah. I think Dave Rennie, we praying and hoping that him, Tana Umaga, and Blair can really spice things up on attack, and I think the forward coaches as well. And we've got some psychology people or people that deal with psychological stuff and motivation, etc. But I think they've got a very strong group. But now it's putting everything together. Enough talk, enough of this Mickey Mouse. But yeah, let's look forward to the final next week. But our last conversation, guys, we're not going to end without talking about Bulls and Leinster. Blue Bulls and Leinster. Ek play nie Hedna nie, ek play a bull. Ek skree nie Vrystaat nie, ek play a bull. Yeah? Vickers, I know we've been talking about it, but now the week has come. Blue Bulls in front of 60K, in front of 60,000 people. At James Lowe, probably his final game. The emotions attached to it.
That's a difference, though.
Talk to me.
The difference is if the game would be at Aviva. So the thing is, it's in the same city. It's not going to be like last weekend at Murrayfield in a different city. It's in the same city. And I think, it's almost like one of those where they're going to try and make up for what they did against UBB. So for me, I'm gonna go Leinster. I think Leinster will come out firing, especially they've had 2 weeks now. Preparation. He's basically gonna pick an Irish starting team. I think he's gonna pick an Irish starting team. It's gonna be an Irish team versus a club team. I think that is gonna happen. Honest.
It's the Springboks in the Blue Bulls. Plenty of them.
No, but they're not. They're old. It's old Springboks and there's a few young ones. They're not starting. Okay. Let's put it like this. Let's go one position for position.
One, two. No, because who's the number one for Bulls? Jade Grobler. No, Grobler is the hooker. You've got
Steenkamp. You've got Steenkamp and
He's
Janus.
a Springbok. Grobler is a Springbok.
Grobler.
He's a Springbok, but he's not a prominent Springbok.
Yeah, you've got your most valuable Springbok player in the Blue Bulls team as well. Nokia.
I think
Nokia. Yes, Nokia is solid. Nokia is solid. But you also have to think of what the guys at Leinster have done.
McGraw.
Ryan and what's his guy's
McGraw.
name?
Ryan and McGraw. No.
No, what's his guy's name?
You wouldn't start McGraw.
McCarthy. Who's McCarthy? Where's McCarthy?
McCarthy, man. Sorry. McCarthy.
McCarthy.
My ass.
McGraw. If McGraw plays, they're in trouble because it's a rubbish prop. But yeah. No, I think the key for them is Dan Sheehan. I think he's the X factor up top. I think
he didn't play against the Stormers, Dan Sheehan.
Against the Stormers, yeah.
Yes, he didn't play against the Stormers. 100%.
That whole team regressed. That whole team regressed in the past 18 months, but he's one of the Irish players that really went, up a level. Him and Jamison Gibson Park.
Okay, Vickers, it's still your choice. It's still your turn. Talk to me.
Remember, I saw. Is it Conan? The other flanker. He was on the bench against the Stormers. He will definitely be starting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Conan, Van der Fleer, and Doris. And if you look at the Bulls, they'll go Kutsia, Erich Lowe, and the youngster Hennekom. Who's your pick
might
there?
Be out, eh? Doris might be out. Doris is touch and go for the final.
Yeah,
touch and go. More likely
they said he couldn't be. He might be out.
Okay, Gibson Park versus Papier. Okay, I think that's fair. We look at 10s. Okay, Pollard has got the 10.
Pollard's got the
10. 12. Creel, I'm not sure. Okay, maybe it's going to be Foster versus...
I think they'll start Foster again.
Yeah, I think they'll go Foster. 13, it will definitely be... Who's 13? Was Moody at 13 or 14? I think
13.
Moody against Rico.
Yeah, so he'll be against Rico Ioni.
That's 50-50.
Yeah, that's 50-50. 11 is Low, and our 14 is the youngster. I think 14 is our youngster. And then
Bulls.
I think Osborne. No, Osborne is at 12. Sorry, Osborne's at 12. So
you put him at 12 against the Stormers.
Yeah, so he was at 12 against the Stormers. Who's at 14? Is it Hansen? Who's at 14?
It's not Hansen.
Our answer 14 is the youngster. I think 14 is our youngster. And
For
then
the
you
Bulls.
got, I think Osborne. No, Osborne is at 12. Sorry, Osborne's at 12. So you
They
got
put him at
basically
12 against the Stormers.
Yeah, so he was at 12 against the Stormers. Who's at 14? Is it Hansen? Who's at 14?
It's not Hansen. It's O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah.
What's the...
Yeah, but
O'Brien. And then
I
you
think
got Hugo.
it's still
Then you got
50-50
Hugo
for me.
and Willie. Then you
I think
got
it's
Hugo
50-50.
I think that it's a forward pack. You're gonna have to go to the forward pack.
Yeah, even that forward pack is 50-50.
So you say that Bulls have a chance to win?
A massive chance. They've got a massive chance. They've got a 2-week break. They've had time to go back to families and reflect. And they probably flying to Ireland when? This evening? No. Maybe Tuesday?
No,
even tomorrow.
Even tomorrow.
Even better. So the Monday is out for training. Tuesday, relax, maybe have a late training session. Then Wednesday, things are full throttle. Wednesday and Thursday, getting back into the mix. Friday, captain's run. Saturday. Oh, no, the game is on Friday,
The game
guys.
is on Friday. Is it Friday? Yeah.
Why would they fly on Monday? Then they only have 2 sessions.
No, they would have flown today then.
Yeah. And then have... you want at least... How many sessions do you think is appropriate? 3 or 4?
It's
training
too late
sessions?
now. It's 2 sessions. 2. It's too late, bro. Land on Monday morning. Gym and recovery that Monday. Tuesday training. Wednesday off. Thursday captain's run. I'm in Friday. You're in the mix. 2 sessions are enough. Give it in percentage. Let's give it in percentage. I'm going 70-30.
70% to Leinster, 30% to the Bulls.
Yes.
Jade?
30% to Bulls.
For me, I can't see Leinster getting any change from the Bulls scrum. I can't see. For me, that's the win. That is where the Bulls.
But if they can avoid scrums, what happens? Because
how they gonna avoid scrums? Are they gonna play? That's the problem. You know, they're gonna get to scrum time, and I think. Okay,
Jade, let me throw a spanner in the works here. I'm the coach of Leinster. I'm working with the Ninaba and the referees on Wednesday. We have a meeting, and if there's a knock on from my team, or if there's a knock on from the opponent, from the Bulls, and I say we would like to play advantage in certain areas, but if you see us regressing, then we can go for a scrum. But if you see us get ascendancy, we put 3 or 4 phases, we gain 10 to 15 meters. Can you please say advantage over so we can continue with the game? I'm running away from the scrums now. That's how you run away from scrums. So I'm just putting a spanner in the works. I'm just throwing something.
Going to get a game. Let's say the Bulls get. Let's say they get 8 scrums in the game. 5, 6, 7, 8 scrums. First few scrums will be warnings. Then from there, I think they can get about 6 penalties from scrum time. I think so.
The Stormers game, there were 8 scrums the whole game.
There we go. Exactly my point. That's why I'm saying, I know everyone wants to bank on scrums, but if you throw a different dynamic to it, now what? Because then if Leinster can avoid scrums, oh man, then it's a long day for the Blue Bulls defending.
If Leinster speeds up the game, gets quick ball, and then I think the Bulls will have a tough time at the office, you know. I think they will struggle. But if it gets slow, Leinster the Bulls get into the game, then it's a big problem. Big problem.
You sound like Jose Mourinho now. I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in trouble. In big trouble. All right. Okay, Vickers, you going Leinster, taking it against the Bulls. Jade, you also going Leinster or you're 50-50?
I'm going Leinster. I have to back my boy Rico Ione. I have to back my boy. I have to back my boy.
Oh, I couldn't believe Jeff Wilson was like, they were talking about the 13 jersey for the All Blacks, and he came out saying, "Oh, Rico Ion is playing in the finals." I'm like, man, did you see him in the last final, the Investec Championship final? Goodness
But
gracious!
Scoop, yes, he played in the wing. But did you see since he played at 13, the amount of zip and but the more the background of Leinster's getting more change? Did you see? Watch these angles that he runs, eh? He's using the dummy run a lot of times, but watch how he runs, watch how he takes plays out of position in the gap that they open.
No, he was good. I'm not going to say he wasn't good against the Stormers, but can he back it up? If he can do that again this weekend, well, we have something here. Anyway, we've got a final. Blue Bulls versus Leinster on Friday. We've got a final. Chiefs versus Hurricanes on Saturday morning. We've got a final. Exeter versus the Saints in English Premiership. It's a weekend of all finals. I don't know if Top 14 is also playing a final this weekend or the weekend after, but one of the two. Nonetheless, guys, thank you.
It's the weekend after. It's the weekend before.
Always wanting to be different, Top 14, and then send mediocre players down under. But nonetheless, they're not winning a game in Australia or New Zealand this year. Regardless, guys, see you next week. All-time footy, international rugby, Springboks versus Barbarians, South Africa A versus Zimbabwe. International rugby is back again. Woohoo! Can't wait. Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Vickers. Thanks to the listeners as well. See you guys next week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for the conversation. Cheers.